sustain our democracy.
Welcome to Tax File. I am Lori Balahassan, your host. Today's episode is packed with rich insights. We'll kick things off with a quick roundup of the latest tax headlines to keep you up to speed. In our Did You Know segment, we'll share some surprising tax facts that could come in handy. Then in Vox Pop, we'll hear directly from the public, capturing a range of voices and opinions on today's pressing tax matters. From there, we'll dive into the knowledge zone, where we break down those perspectives with clear explanations and deeper context. Our professional insight segment brings in expert commentary to help untangle complex tax issues. And finally, we'll wrap things up with What's on the Net, featuring your questions and comments from social media and our responses. It's going to be an engaging and informative journey. Let's get started. And now, the news. In a landmark move for economic modernization, the Nigeria Revenue Service has officially launched Rev 360. More than a simple software update, this complete technological overhaul is designed to fundamentally restructure the national tax framework. The initiative positions the agency as a progressive technology-first leader in national development. The report.
We are live at the corporate headquarters of the Nigeria Revenue Service for the launch of the Future of Tax Administration in Nigeria, Rev 360. Come along with us.
Centered on the theme, Experience the Future of Tax Administration, the launch of Rev 360 brought together high-level cabinet officials from the financial sector, signaling a unified government effort to support a $1 trillion economy. The new platform aims to shift the current paradigm from rigid bureaucratic enforcement to user-centric convenience. By simplifying complex processes and increasing transparency, the initiative is designed to foster institutional trust nationwide. Speaking at the event, Zak Adedeji, chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service, stated that the platform's launch is perfectly timed. He highlighted that the system is custom engineered to optimize national revenue collection and directly drive the administration's economic milestones.
Nigeria Revenue Service is no more accounting agency. It's now a technology agency. This is the future. And it's not for us to dream the future. We just have to build that future. And I think that is what NRS is doing today. We are building the future that we want for ourselves.
I'm pleased to join you today for unveiling of Rev 360, a significant milestone in the ongoing modernization of Nigeria's revenue administration architecture. The theme of today's event, Experience the Future of Tax Administration, Rev 360, a transformative upgrade, is quite germane and needed at this particular time for our economic growth.
So transformation is the key word of what Rev 360 is about. It's not a change. We are moving and we are transformed to a better service, a one-stop shop, an integrated system that takes care of not just registration, not just assessment, payment, audit, and customer service, all within one system, so that Nigerians and even international investors can have this transparent service and operation driven by this system.
What excites us most about Rev 360 is not merely its technological capability, but its practical impact on taxpayers. The platform creates a more integrated experience, provides greater visibility across taxpayer obligations, simplifies key processes, improves engagement channels, and strengthens support mechanisms. More importantly, it creates the foundation for a more collaborative relationship between the taxpayers and the Nigerian Revenue Service.
Stakeholders warmly welcomed the development, noting that the ultimate success of Rev 360 will be measured not by its technical lines of code, but by its tangible impact on the daily experiences of Nigerian taxpayers.
Revenue generation rests on the tripod of assessment, collection, and enforcement. Everything has been brought into a single one-stop shop in this Rev 360 now. So it gives you a page as a business owner, as a taxpayer, where you can interact directly, where you can sit, raise assessment for yourself, go on to collection, to pay, and then you can request for services. That is what ease of doing business is all about.
We are, as you know, aspiring towards a $1 trillion economy. And to achieve that, we need to improve the ease of doing business for companies. And so digitizing or enhancing the digitization of the tax process is a critical part of this transformation agenda. You know, for the size of our economy, having a seamless platform like this is super important to even self-reporting and self-compliance. Because if the platform is easier to use, if it's more accessible, it then allows people, it encourages people to come out on their own to declare what is due to the state.
For one thing I know is that this platform will be a very great improvement over the tax pro that we were using in the past. The challenges are being overcome right now, and I'm sure that in the next couple of weeks before the end of the June 30th deadline for most of the companies, most of these challenges will have been done away with.
This new platform could not have come at a better time than now. It is something I have personally defined as different platforms in the past, but this one appears to be different, holistic, transparent, and so appealing as far as practitioners are concerned.
Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, has commended the Nigeria Revenue Service, NRS, for its transformation in tax administration, describing the launch of Rev 360 as a significant milestone in government's broader reform agenda. Speaking at the unveiling of the platform, Oduwole said the service has demonstrated a strong commitment to innovation and stakeholder engagement, noting that tax reforms have evolved considerably from the early days of digitalization. Jasra Tawheed reports.
The minister recalled her involvement in Nigeria's ease of doing business reforms and praised the collaborative approach adopted by NRS leadership over the years. She specifically acknowledged the leadership of Executive Chairman Dr. Zach Adidiji, citing his role in driving key national reforms, including the National Single Window Project. Oduwole said initiatives such as Rev 360 are critical building blocks in the Tinubu administration's vision of growing Nigeria into a $1 trillion economy, adding that technology-driven reforms will continue to strengthen the country's business environment and revenue administration framework.
From digital administration to intelligent administration, that was the central message from Mr. Iniabasi Akpan, Executive Director, Technology, Nigeria Revenue Service, NRS, as he addressed stakeholders at the unveiling of Rev 360, the service's new integrated tax administration platform. Ejira Etu Okpanachi reports.
Iniabasi said Rev 360 was developed not simply to deploy new technology, but to address the evolving needs of taxpayers, businesses, and revenue authorities. He explained that the platform connects the entire taxpayer journey from registration and filing to payment, compliance management and support services, all within a single ecosystem.
The fundamental and most important question is, what problem does it solve? And then the other question is, what are the global standards or frameworks that and global best practices that we can actually, leverage? So that's been the question for us in building Rev 360. So Rev 360 was not developed because new technologies are available. It was built because there's a future. The future of tax administration requires a different approach to how taxpayers, businesses, and revenue authorities interact.
According to him, Rev 360 marks NRS's transition from digital administration to intelligent administration, providing real-time visibility, enhanced taxpayer support, stronger compliance capabilities, and data-driven decision-making.
Rev 360 brings together tax registration, filing, payments, reporting, compliance management, support services, and operational intelligence within a single integrated ecosystem. And that's what Rev 360 does.
He added that the platform will deliver greater convenience for taxpayers, improve efficiency for businesses, and stronger operational capability for the service as it moves towards the future of tax administration.
We moved from a digital administration system to an intelligent administration system. So it means that we have the data, we have all the endpoints from various transactions that the users or taxpayers will do, and then we can actually leverage that intelligence and data to be able to determine whether someone is complying or not.
One of the key differences is the introduction of a tax consultant portal. Before now, tax consultants had to get login credentials from their taxpayers and log into their accounts. But we have a tax consultant portal that would now allow tax consultants to manage all their clients through one interface. We've also introduced a system-to-system filing mechanism where third parties can build up tax applications that would, connect to us via APIs and for the purpose of tax compliance.
At every stage of the development, we're ensuring the system is secured. So taxpayers should be rest assured that the data is safe. We've put in a lot of security stage gates to ensure that at every point in time that we're interfacing with taxpayers, the data is secured.
It actually works offline. So a lot of the data that the taxpayers are going to be inputting, they can do offline and then imported into the system. And the system has logic built into it and intelligence that helps them to clean up that data, to tell them where their issues are, and then they can do that offline before they move in.
This is a peak period for me in the office, having to file tax return for December year end. But because of Rev 360, I could delegate, I could do my review, even offline, when my staff completes the templates for filing the CIT return. So it's been a lot of relief. As a tax consultant, I find it very easy and good to work with.
Rev 360 is transformational. It is my belief that what has happened will definitely impact greatly on the economy of the country, because the system is going to make it so easy for taxpayers and consultants and businesses, to comply with their tax obligations. It will make it so simple. You can do this from the comfort of your home. You can do it from your phone, from your laptop.
And that's a wrap on the news. Let's join Mariam on the Vox Pop segment.
A very warm welcome to the segment. I remain yours truly, Mariam Julde Adura. Today we're out to find out if the tax ID requirement applies to businesses. Come. Does the tax ID requirement also apply to businesses?
Yes, of course it does. Because for every individual or as a person, as an entity, you have, just like when you have a normal ID card. So of course, when it comes to tax ID, you are here in a particular place to do exploits, business or whatever. So whatever you are doing, whether tangible or intangible, you must have a tax ID for proper monitoring for tax matters.
Basically, it's just for the tax authority to be able to monitor the businesses so as to meet the tax compliance or the tax obligations, also as businesses tend to make profits. So with the help of the tax authority, they are being able to get their tax ID.
I think it applies to businesses because every business that is operating in Nigeria has to pay tax. So everybody is expected to get a tax ID for compliance So the tax authority knows that, oh, this person is in Nigeria and is operating as a business.
Does the tax ID requirement also apply to businesses?
Yes, it is, because they do make profit. So the tax authorities need to monitor the business for them to meet the tax compliances. So with that, it will help boost the revenue and also make the business owners to know that once you are making profit, you need to give back to the government too.
Yes, it does, for proper recognition. And it's easy to track a person's business and the kind of income he is making. And it's actually good that you have a tax ID for proper management of your business and for the government to be able to look into how you add revenue back to the country.
Did you know the tax ID requirement applies to both individuals and businesses? For more information, please visit www.nrs.gov.ng.
Ashu Abe takes us on the Knowledge Zone.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Zone, where we dive deeper into the interesting conversations had on the streets. I remain your host, Ashu Abe. On today's episode, we'll be answering the question, does the tax ID requirement also apply to businesses? Yes, it does. Under the 2025 Nigerian Tax Administration Act, the tax ID requirement applies to both individuals and businesses. Any taxable person, including companies, registered businesses, partnerships, and other organizations, are required to have a valid tax identifier for specified financial and commercial transactions. However, registered businesses do not need to obtain a separate tax identification number, TIN. Under the new framework, a business's Corporate Affairs Commission CAC registration number serves as its official tax ID, while individuals use their National Identification Number, NIN, as their tax ID. This reform was introduced to simplify compliance and eliminate duplicate identification systems. Over to you, Lore.
And now to our Professional Insight segment. And joining us is the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is the bedrock of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's aspirations to a $1 trillion economy. The ministry facilitates investment. Domestic investment first is Mr. President's priority because he believes that businesses thriving in Nigeria are the best advertisement for foreign direct investment. They lead to productivity by investing and making sure that economic activity is galvanized. And then from productivity to exports, we have a target of non-oil exports, which also rebalances our trade balance. Taxation is a very critical element of attracting investors, of retaining domestic investors and attracting foreign ones. This is because businesses want a predictable environment, and government needs to generate and create certain services that help businesses and the regulatory environment to thrive. With the new reforms, the fiscal and monetary reforms across this administration, Mr. President has ensured that by the signing into law of 4 new tax legislations and the entire reform By making sure that the new tax architecture, 4 pieces of legislation that have completely revamped the architecture of Nigeria's taxation policy, the administration has ensured that businesses have predictability, they have certainty, they have transparency, they have the opportunity to consolidate their plans, and this is what leads to a thriving business environment. The National Single Window Project is one that has been a long time coming for the federal government of Nigeria. This administration, Mr. President, took the bull by the horns and put the executive chair of the Nigeria Revenue Service in charge of the intervention. By galvanizing stakeholders across the board, we were able to kick off the National Single Window Project Phase 1 in March. I was in charge of the countdown and the kickoff, and the team really worked so hard to deliver this intervention for Nigeria. The National Single Window is a portal that delivers transparency and efficiency. Being a trading nation, whether it's from importing or exporting, the National Single Window is an intervention that ensures that businesses can facilitate their trade. And so it's one that every serious economy, every large economy, every profitable economy needs to have a single window. So on the African continent, Nigeria is leading in this regard. We're now joined the League of Countries that has a national single window portal. This will help us to take full advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. This is a milestone in Nigeria's trade facilitation. It also makes sure that as we trade with regions across the world, from the UAE to Brazil, Asia, Latin America, the EU, the US, that trade is transparent, trade is predictable, and trade is fast. So it's an important and extremely important intervention for the Nigerian economy. For Nigeria's taxpayers, please trust the process, particularly businesses. The best is yet to come. The NRS just launched Rev 360 last week, which brings a new level of technology into tax administration to make it easier, to make it faster, to make it more predictable, transparent, to move all stress. And so just trust the process. It's in our benefit when you have an easy experience and when you are able to generate more income for the economy, produce more jobs, and just generally lead to prosperity. Tax administration is an important part for the government to be able to deliver services and a regulatory environment and infrastructure that citizens need. And so when our businesses are able to pay their taxes accurately and efficiently, really it's a win-win for everybody. So please trust the process, embrace the process, and believe in the process.
Over now to Swateku for what's on the net.
Good day and welcome to What's on the Net. My name is Joyce Swateku. At Pretty Pinky is asking, hello please, I made a mistake when I was filing for my tax. How can I correct that? Hello Pretty Pinky, if you made a mistake while filing for your tax, don't worry, it can be corrected. Simply log into your tax portal and amend your submission, or visit your nearest tax office to file a correction. If the tax has already been processed, you may need to complete an amendment form or write a letter explaining the correction, along with supporting documents. It is best to act quickly so the error doesn't affect your records or refunds. At Hey Nomad is asking, hello, how do I file for zero VAT for AGO? Businesses dealing with automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, are required to file their VAT returns by declaring AGO transactions under VAT-exempt sales on Tax Promax, since the product is exempt from value-added tax. Taxpayers are also reminded that monthly VAT returns must still be filed even where no VAT is payable or no business transactions occurred within the period. Over to you, Laurie.
Brings brings us to the end of today's episode of Tax File. We've covered latest updates, explored diverse public opinions, and gained clarity from expert voices. Remember, tax knowledge isn't just about numbers, it's about understanding how policies and decisions affect everyday life. Thank you for joining me, Laure Bala Hassan, on this enlightening ride. Keep the conversation going by sharing your thoughts online. We love hearing from you. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and keep filing smart. NRS, together we rise, together we prosper.